Welcome back to AI Search, the podcast about machine learning and AI in every industry. We're so excited to talk about Drago Cmuk and his career and what he's been doing to help digitalize companies and education. Hi Drago, how are you here today?
Hello, nice to meet you and thanks for inviting me here.
Yes, it's so great to talk to you on our podcast. Just give us a little bit about you and what you've been doing in your career lately.
Okay. Lately, I guess the last big thing I did is actually I started my own company. It was acquired in a couple of months by a big world firm, Forvis Mazars, and now I'm part of a big consulting group. We're actually third biggest in Europe.
Wow.
And number 10, well, in 10 best in the world. But we still work as a small agile company because we're independent. So I lead my team and we're happy to have brand and experience worldwide, but then to nurture local presence and local culture and local access to the issues in business and education, actually.
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah. So you've been doing a lot of digital transformation work, actually helping companies with digital transformation.
Yeah, we call it digital business design lately. We like to call it design because it's actually it's a challenge. If you want to build a house, you'll first start with the project, you know.
Yeah.
What do I want to build, you know, how it should look, you know. How should we experience it, you know, as users? But in digital world, people tend to approach this a little bit differently, you know.
Yeah.
Usually industries, they are focused on their work, which is precisely what they should do. But then in designing the digital solutions, they will, who do we know? Who is best for this and that part, you know? So they start bringing bricks, you know, calling colleagues, neighbors, you know, you will build this part and we will build this part. And then they, we don't have the metal parts or we're missing something, you know, and it becomes chaos.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So we're trying to start it as a design. We like to start it strategically.
Okay.
And basically, when we start with companies, and in last years, actually, we're working. Almost every client we have is the best in their field, you know.
Nice.
So I'm saying, you know, are they choosing us because they're the best, you know, or they're the best because they like to invest in things that create value? You know?
And I think that's a very key point. When people want to invest, they're ready to grow.
Yeah. They're already good and they want to be better, you know.
Exactly.
So we love it. Yeah. Anyway, we start, and it's actually quite interesting, you know. We were discussing it just the other day on the south of Serbia about owning the problems, you know. There came about a rhetoric about, you know, like, we don't call it problems, we call it, how do they say, challenges, you know. So we make them beautiful, you know, and then nobody cares, you know. You know?
Yeah.
What we like to say, own the problem, you know. If you have a problem, say it, you know. Say it, let's see how big it is and what we can do. We've been solving problems for all our life, you know. What's the problem now, you know? And we try to encourage actually our clients to come with real problems and then let's find real solutions, you know. And this is actually how we start. We dig into problems, we find them, we sometimes create them even bigger, you know. But then we do the digital business design around it and solve them. You know?
Yeah, you're able to then. How do you go about educating the employees that you have there? You know, you found their problems, you help them actually identify their problems, and then kind of adapting this change, this culture of change, because now it's time for them to start attacking. Are they open towards it, or are they kind of? Does it take some time to change the way they're working, the way they're thinking?
Well, I usually speak about the biggest problems in the industry, and they're very well known for experts, you know, for people who are doing their jobs, producing tables or glasses or whatever, you know. They are not so much in digital, and a lot of this is unknown for them, you know. But then when I try to teach them about the issues they're gonna face, you know, first thing I say, there is always one expert among you who know exactly how things cannot be done.
Okay.
You know? So he's always blocking, you know. He always sees some some fear and danger in front of them. Usually those are like leading guys in companies who are great experts in their work and they're respected, you know. But they're not so sure about digital, you know. When they finished college, it was like 20, 30 years ago, they heard nothing about it. Now they saw something digital, but they're very sure about themselves. They build their career around it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're forcing them to step out of the comfort zone, you know, so it's not easy.
It's a very big, scary first step.
Yeah, and then there's usually one young guy who's like keen to prove something, you know, hey, let's do this and that. And they're like, you know, I want to block this guy, you know, he's going to be better than me, you know, very soon, you know. So this competition comes about, you know, and actually all sorts of different challenges, but basically these human issues are reasons why I started my own company, because I wanted to handle these people issue, you know. And at first, when we have projects talking with people, you know, people refusing to change, I was like, okay, we have to find consultants who do that, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was searching the market and I found consultants and they were like, you know, declaring, yeah, we work with people. Yeah, of course. But then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really the psychology behind the worker.
Yeah. And actually Mazars was one of my first biggest clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know, here's the price for digital and here is the price for the organizational culture. And it's almost the same.
Yeah.
And they said, okay. You know, I was shocked, you know, because you don't have many companies like that. Now we do have, you know, because things have changed and companies really do. We have this panel the other day and one of our clients said that actually they hired us because we put so much accent on people and managing the change, etc. And they said we failed like twice and we were like, well, this is the problem, you know. We have to engage the people, get them on board and you know, do this thing with them, not against them.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think once the people in the organization are more engaged, they're also able to engage better with the user experience of their end clients if they're, you know, have a better relationship.
Yes.
You know, when you feel good at home, when your grass is green, you can make someone else's grass greener.
Yes. So. I think we also get a lot of contracts because we really have fun.
Yeah,
you know?
That's great.
Yeah, we were discussing. Maybe it's a little bit inappropriate, but I like it even more. We're discussing, you know, what we're actually doing, you know. And I was like, okay, guys, what we do is we provoke systems thinking, you know.
Okay.
And this systems thinking is a little complicated word that we lost this meaning. But engineers, they knew it, you know, because they were spending quite some time on mathematics and understanding the systems. And then provoking is something that I like to connect with art, you know. Because art should provoke us, you know, give us to see something that we didn't see before, you know. And when you are working in design, you want to have this provocative, you know.
Yeah.
Hello, it's me. Let's go change the world, you know.
Exactly.
You know, it has to be engaging. It has to be innovative. It has to be different.
Has to flow out of you and, you know, disrupt the environment around you. Can't always be the same.
Yeah. And you know, it has to be like magnet, you know, drawing people to this. I said, okay, this is what we do. And then we spend months, years actually, working on that strategy, detailing, and then I said, it was a few months ago, I said, hey guys, but it's not actually a purpose, you know, it's something we do, you know. We do digital strategies around, we provoke this system thinking and build design. But why do we do it, you know? And then I said something, and guys really agreed about it. I said that helping someone to grow is the most noble thing you can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I said the other sentence, when you do it privately in relationships, it's called love.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
That's love. Helping someone to grow without interest. Yeah? And I said, in business world, it's called consulting. You're helping someone grow, you know.
Yeah.
And then I add, you know, when it succeeds, it's called sex. No, it's, you know, it's really, it's that feeling, you know. And when we, you know, work with clients, and it succeeds, it's really better than that, you know. It's really wow.
Yeah, because you're putting your selfish energy into somebody or something, to help them.
Yeah,
succeed.
and you see them grow, you see them change, you know. When we see people working and thinking differently about their issues, you know, yeah, we're kind of proud. So we love to do it. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. How much in the last 5 years have you changed their digital design? Does that include
Yes.
machine learning? Does that include
Yes. Well,
models?
machine learning. Yeah, it's
It's all in there.
it's a debate. Well, it's all in there, but you cannot escape it today. But then expectations are too high.
Okay.
So we have to be realistic. When I speak about AI, I try to let's calm things down.
It's still a baby.
Yeah, it's still a baby. Don't invest too much money. Yeah, well, we have now like almost 10 million euros, 2 big projects on AI, one with a client, one internal. This internal is on education. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. And the other one is purely industrial, and AI is there about security,
Okay.
and scanning the network and providing like a platform that will allow different users to connect to a secure R&D environment where they can design very sensitive things for sensitive industries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, it's a little bit complicated. The project we have internally, actually, it's called CFO Evolution Hub. It's something we do in Mazars. Mazars is actually very famous about people who finish economy.
Okay.
And they start with us, and we usually teach them finances, accounting, audit, financial services, M&A, etc., etc. But it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Basically what you learn on faculties is quite theoretical. And then when we teach them, they become good. We've invested a lot of time. It means a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then since the the market is very competitive, then Big Four, likes to take people from Mazars.
Yeah, of course.
And they return a lot from Big Four.
Okay.
Because we try to develop a little bit different culture. Anyway, we have this fluctuation, which is not the best. It could be better. We won best place to work, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. It's
well, as
just
long
that
as people are coming back.
yes,
that's also
we
a
do
good
experience
sign.
it
Yeah.
because, to be honest, Big Four is putting a lot of pressure on people.
Yeah.
Our philosophy is different. We think if we have fun, if we do quality and professional work, then this life balance and satisfaction will reflect to the contracts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't push people too much, but we do push. It's not
of
easy.
Course. Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
work.
So we wanted to save some time, and we said, okay, let's build a platform where AI will teach students some. First, it will scan their knowledge, it will find the gaps,
Okay.
and it will fill the gaps with theoretical knowledge. But it's short intro, and then people will go to practice, what they learn, and as soon as possible they will go to solve concrete challenges that clients have,
Okay.
through a platform. And they will have AI mentor in the beginning, and then real live mentor at the end. And it's some kind of getting the levels like a video game, and you're raising the level, and the platform should serve as a Uber for financial services.
Yeah, incredible.
So freelance people, vulnerable parts of society, like people who live very far in remote areas, or minorities, or whatever, who cannot access even college, or have struggle finding a job, they could join the platform, and with their work, they could come to a level where they're like working like freelancer on the platform, providing financial services.
Yeah.
So we think it's a good approach. We got EU funding, it's really almost 5 million euro.
Yeah, I was going to ask how much of an investment it was in that kind of platform.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot, but it's something we consider very worth it.
Yeah, I think if you can, personalize, I think it's annoying, for example, even like apps like Duolingo, you can test out of a certain amount of levels, but at some point, if you already know the language, you're already going to be repeating some of the knowledge again and again.
Yes.
And I think a lot of users get a little bit annoyed and disheartened, like, I know how to say cat and I don't want to learn it anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then
Leave me alone.
And another 10 lessons on how to say cat, right?
Yeah,
so I think in that case, where you can fill in the holes of the knowledge that's missing, is a huge plus for user experience. I think that's something that people will be able to learn faster to fill in their gaps, and then eventually like an assessment test to make sure they know everything just makes the user feel more valued.
Yeah, I think that the education is probably the worst part of our society. You know,
Yeah.
I was lecturing on like 7 colleges.
Yeah.
I have a fair lecture Monday, so I'm gonna refresh my materials through weekend. But the problem is, you know, that we created system that the best students, you know, and they're usually like people who like to study books, etc. They tend to stay as a professors and do the, you know, education part, do PhD, do science, etc. But the most effective are engineers, you know, who like to do work with hands. They're not so, you know, innovation, which is driving the industry, is not so much about the books. It's a lot more about doing, and we're missing that part. We're not pushing professors to work with industry. We do, but not enough.
Yeah.
We're pushing them to publish articles, you know.
Yeah.
So this system is a little bit, you know. And then from the early ages, you know, what I hate the most is, for example, music schools.
Yeah.
We're still in a system where you push these kids. They come with love for an instrument. They want to express themselves, you know, etc. And we're pushing them to learn the notes, learn the solfeggio, you know, and we're not even teaching them the logic, but some repetitive stuff, you know, which they will use in 10 years, you know. And usually what happens is that people start to hate the instrument, you know. My daughter started to hate violin, and I was like, what did you do to her? You know, why did you do it?
Yeah.
Imagine your job, that the end result of your job is like 80% of the people you work with, they start to hate what you were teaching them, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what we have in music
So
school.
depressing.
Yeah. It's very similar in elementary school. Don't get me wrong, you know. But we, you know, still pushing kids to learn some data, you know, instead of playing, solving problems, you know. I know it's hard, but, you know, come on, we have to reform this.
Yeah, the future is going to be more about problem solving than repeating repetitive tasks.
Yes.
Especially with, you know, AI agents being able to help with repetitive tasks. This problem solving is going to be such a key factor. And if we're not teaching kids to problem solve on their own, they're not going to, you know, some of them, of course, they're going to be able to. They're natural born engineers, they're natural born doers, but some people won't be able to kind of harness that skill until a much later age, you know, age 30 plus, when it's almost too late. You should be starting your career at 24, 25, not at 30.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Even now we started to rely too much on AI, you know. I heard the guy, you know, he's like a consultant or something, saying knowledge is growing exponentially, you know. How can knowledge grow exponentially? Knowledge is your perception in your head, you know. It didn't change much, you know, in recent 100 years, you know, it's still the same. And with the flood of information, you know, you're remembering much less, you're understanding much less, you know, not more. You know, knowledge is decreasing, and then we rely on, you know, sources like ChatGPT or Google or whatever digital sources. But somebody has to understand this, you know. And systems thinking is about connecting informations, putting even wisdom into equation. AI will never be able to do that. Mark my words. You know?
It's true.
Yeah. You know, we in our project we have AI to a certain level.
Yes.
You know? When it's stupid, when it's about the data, good rules you can, you know, apply, then it's good. When it's about creativity, solving problems, you know, finding a solution that client is struggling with, you need people. You know. When it's about someone's career, you know, like repeating the cat, you know, stop this, let's see what's your next step, you know, let's see in which direction you want to develop. You cannot put everything in equation.
Exactly.
And I think it's good news, you know.
No, I think I think that kind of education system hopefully will grow out of this whole hype of AI, because we are really going to have to change how we educate our, you know, younger people, how we educate from elementary school onwards and how they grow up, because it's going to be so much easier for them to be lazy with all of the internet and all of the tablets and everything available to them, you know, pretty much from birth. For a lot of a lot of parents are giving kids, you know, phones and tablets at age 1 or 2, and they're just going to have so much wealth of information, and exactly as you said, the knowledge is going to go down because they're not using their brains. Everything is, you know, attainable through 2 clicks or one chatbot.
Yeah, there is a sentence of a song where Mila Kenkin says it's so scary easy, you know, to flow with the water, you know, just to, you know, be carried away, you know.
To let go.
To let go. And everything you want to do, it's just so hard, you know.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when we speak with companies and with digital, we like to end up, I came across a lecture in the weekend where a guy was speaking about storytelling, you know, and I was a lot about this system thinking, obviously. And there is a change management book from Peter Senge from MIT. It's like 20, maybe 30 years old, you know, but it's still a Bible of change management. And the guy said this, you know, basically to start a change, people must believe in personal mastery. That's education. I can be better. Okay. I can do better. You know, I will be better. You know, that's where you start. If you don't have this, don't come to Forvis Mazars. You know. That's
makes
like
sense. That's like that internal drive. Like how?
This is what moves you. If you don't have it, you know, you should really see a doctor. No, I'm not kidding. You know, I'm not kidding.
Oh, that's like the paper pushers in the office.
Yes.
For me, it's so depressing to watch that. Like if you don't.
But some people like it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Well.
Then the other level said you have to have shared vision. You know.
Yeah.
Like you have to have what you want to do, and we're really digging with people. What do you actually want to do?
No.
What is the design you have in mind? You know, and we try to provoke. You know, like step out of the comfort zone, and then. You have third level, which is mental models. This is a little bit heavy because it can be connected to trauma and to our views of the world, which can block us. You know, you know. I want to be better, but I can't because he's stopping me. You know, they don't let me. I have to do something, etc. You know, so you have to unblock people. You know, and this is tricky part, and that part was. Actually, I started my company with a psychotherapist.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah, no, because it is.
Amazing.
No, because this is very hard. You know, you have to unblock. You know, it's not natural.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think that's changing with this? I don't know how many younger employees you have, because I think a lot of 20-year-olds are a little bit more psychologically aware than 30, 40,
well,
50.
I'm not sure, you know, because you have a lot of popular psychology. I call it popular bullshit, you know, on social networks. You get snipset,
so,
you know?
You're not diving into your
and if you want to do something, you really have to dive in
you do,
several hundreds pages books, you know, and you have to
so
digest.
We're doing 7-second psychology.
It's not working. It's not working, you know. You get like some partial truths, you know. A lot of young guys are entitled, you know, and they have this view of the world, you know. I will start a sentence and then Google will finish it, you know. I'm looking for, you know, and they're always feeling lucky, you know, and it's not.
Yeah, it's the only way they experience the world.
Yeah, the world is not there to finish your sentences. You know.
Yeah, but for them it was.
You know.
Very interesting.
The problems will come. So these mental models are very important. And then I was thinking about, you know, 3 levels. It's like personal mastery and shared vision and mental models, and then you have something that's called team learning. You basically, if you want to achieve a vision and you unblock the things, you basically want to have, you know, people together. Okay, this is heavy stuff, you know, how we will solve this problem, you know. That's team learning.
That's teams.
So it's a lot about personalities. It's a lot about how we will manage conflict, you know, how we will appreciate someone who's totally different than me, you know.
And
you
how
have one guy
work as a team.
Yeah, you need a creative guy. You need some who is administratively powerful, organized. You know, you need the driver who will push everybody. You need one guy who will, you know, make parties. You know, really, you need these guys. You know, and it's not easy. And then the 5th level is system thinking, and basically system thinking is lost because we started look things very partially. You know, we look how to optimize. I don't know, marketing. You know. And I see companies, they optimize marketing and they get a lot of leads, but they don't have sales to support it. Or they have sales, but then they have, support for, and what are you doing,
It's like you have the best brakes, but the gas pump doesn't work.
Yeah. And it's, we have a lot of issues, We see people, a lot of kids are taking their lives, in USA because of social networks.
Yeah.
It's a lack of, we're designing something, marketing engine that's eating our kids,
Yeah.
It's really bad. So what I came to understand that all 5 levels of this 5th discipline is like system thinking. Yeah, that's the book. All levels are based on storytelling, and it was mind opening. Personal mastery is story about myself. Shared vision is a story about what we want to do. Mental models, that's a bad story that's blocking me, from achieving what I can do. Team learning is story about us. How we cooperate, how we solve conflicts. And system thinking, it's when we finish, like all strategy or all digital design, we say, let's sit together and let's make story about it, Why is this important? Yeah, because people will relate to stories.
Yeah.
They will not relate to 100-page strategy,
Yeah. I think that's incredible. Yeah, and I think that really sets that mental thinking in leadership. I think is so important because you're setting up not only yourself but the people around you in a very healthy team environment. So even when it's a bad day for someone, they actually grew up with their team. It's like you said earlier about having your partner. It's about your love. Like you grew up together. You're supporting each other. And what's better, even when you come to a bad day, you're excited to come to work because your team members are going to take care of you. It's like the football game. You're in it together, and that energy is really important.
Yeah. And it's kind of you're exhausted, but it feels good.
Better.
Yeah. We had some metaphors. We won't be going back to this, but
exactly. Yeah, it's great. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, it's incredible to hear.
Yeah, I don't know how are we with time.
Good.
Good. Okay.
I think the story was fully told. The important thing about any podcast is the
story.
The story.
Yeah. I think maybe we can conclude with people.
Yeah.
The other thing about storytelling is purpose. It's often just not seen enough.
Yeah.
And what we see with every organization that management is trying to do. If it's a good company, then they will do buy-in.
Yeah.
Imagine you have to do buy-in for your husband. I pay him off. Hey, come on, that sounds very bad. Sounds very bad.
Doesn't sound very nice.
Yeah. But in business, like we're gonna do buy-in.
Yeah.
No, we had one big transformation recently, and I started with, guys, we're not gonna pay you anything. And they were like, what? And the whole management was there, And then they said, no, it was very bad meeting. They didn't take it too well. I said, well,
too bad.
we're trying to change things, It has to come from us. It must keep the hierarchy. It must keep the rules, It has to be creative. It has to come from positive, our belief, our vision, our wish to become better, etc., etc. It must not come from payment, And there was a lot of noise, But then in a month or two time, they saw engagement like never before.
Wow. Okay.
People were starting to take ownership. This is my project,
Yeah.
And I want to, and then the management said, no, we will give them rewards. I said, it's okay, give them rewards, but don't let them start with money, Start with purpose. I'm building a better place to work for me, for my friend, for my colleague, for the guy I hate, but I'm doing something significant. And this purpose is driving like hell, really. Yeah. And when it's connected to story, that people create together, you can do miracles.
Yeah, because it's not only about it's my purpose, but also my purpose in the context of the story.
Yes.
How our purposes interact. Yeah.
Yes. So you got very fast what we try to do.
I love it. That's great. No, that's such a refreshing point of view from a company, and I just really hope that you're able to build your company and also other, influence other people around you to have that kind of positive energy.
To be honest, people feel it.
Yeah.
Most of contracts we get, like, you're a good team, you have fun,
Yeah.
And this is, we ask them,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a management, and we were discussing the huge digital transformation project, and I was like, are we done? Yeah, 2 more questions, I said, what? Well, I have one. What you would like us to do, What you would be, what do you expect for us, if you would expect well, they said we wanted to provoke us, we wanted to challenge us, Okay, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that, And they said, but what would you like to feel personally in this project? What's there for you, And the management they started laughing, They started laughing because it's their business,
Yeah.
I said, what would make you happy? And then they started, what it is. Yeah, I would like to have fun. I would like to do this and that, Yeah, let's do that, let's have fun.
It's like back in startup mode again. Yeah.
Yes.
Because who in this day and age, when everyone's so, tired and lonely and dead in emotion inside, and then you ask, what do you want to feel again? It's like you're a child again.
Yeah. How would success look like, What?
Yeah. You don't even know. I love that.
Yeah, I was driving with my colleague Dragan. We were driving to another company. They're great. They make shoes, but they're maybe number 2 in Europe for kids' shoes. Yeah, shoes.
Yeah.
You don't imagine, that we have such a successful companies in Croatia, and they're not so much known. Anyway, we're driving there and we dig in their processes, it was heavy stuff, and we have 3 hours workshop where we're gonna dig through the processes, finding pains, and trying to create to be, and it's and I'm nervous all the time. I cannot go there, with 3 hours workshop, they're gonna kill us, or we're gonna kill them, whatever. And we're coming close there and said, I have an idea, and I started working on the slide. And we got there, very tight. We get in, and the majority owner of the company and still advisor and still working in the company is a lady. She's, I think, more than 70 years.
Oh, wow.
And I said, before we start with digging in the project, I would like to share how I see your company in the future, a vision I have. And I see virtual showroom, and I put 3D glasses, and I said, I see a company where you could create virtual shoes, and where people could have virtual studio to take the samples, try the colors, try, something, and she stood up from her chair, and started clapping, yeah, 70 years old, and she's clapping like a child,
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I was like, okay, now we can go 3 hours, dig in the processes, And they were like it's a far future, but then in 3 months' time we were writing the project,
Yeah.
And I said,
to awaken those emotions in somebody who's been so many years in that, I think that's, that's let's say the joy of life, right? So
Sure. Sure.
Incredible. I love it. That's very inspiring. I'm excited to think of that in my everyday work now.
But you also inspire people. I think it's great, And even when I organize these kind of events, panels, discussion, etc., I like to provoke this. I like to, put something that will pull people from everyday situations.
Yeah, because we can't just work from 9 to 5 and keep our head down. You gotta really remember to enjoy life and remember to live your story so you can tell your story.
I usually say I don't take myself too seriously. I take my job seriously, but not myself.
That's good. Well, thank you so much, Drago, for joining us.
Thank you for calling me. I really enjoyed it. So I hope that our listeners will too.
Yes, they will, I'm sure. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Let us know what you think in the comments.